Hey, Moss here again. Let's try a battle report. We got Big Waaagh versus Kharadron Overlords. Hopefully this is interesting. We're gonna do like a after every round summary, and hopefully you guys can learn as much as I am. So quickly, just to go over the lists. So I'm playing Big Waaagh. So my grand strategy is Waaagh, because it's just so easy to get with the weird Nob Shaman, who's the general with Master Magic and the great big green Hand of Gork, of course. I am playing with an Auric Mega Boss with Destroyer, because more dead is better. My War Chanter has Fix and Beat, Swamp Kala Shaman with Choking Mist, and Wargog Prophet with Glow and Tattoos, and the aspect of the champion fueled by Gurish Rage. And the spell the Wargog takes is irrelevant. I have a reinforced unit of Ardboys, 5 Ardboys, a reinforced unit of Brutes, and then 2 units of Gorgruntus, and then 2 reinforced units of Bolt Boys. I have a Warlord battalion in here to grab the extra artifact for the Mega Boss, and I'm taking Galatian Sharpshooters, which have my 2 Bolt Boy units and a token unit of Ardboys in it. So it should be pretty good. The idea behind this list is to give a general kind of like play testing list for the new season that's coming up, and just to, practice Big Waaagh and just get used to it. How like all the little, just to get good at it, right? So I have a unit of Ardboys deployed on the front line just to march at the center and grab objectives. I have my units of Gorgruntus on the flanks to also run out and grab objectives, and then everything else is pretty much sitting really far back within range of the teleport spell, so I can sort of pick and choose what needs to be teleported around. We're playing this battle plan, whatever it's called, the Prize of Galette, but we're ignoring the special rules just because the season's almost over, so we're just sort of using the deployment zones and the objectives. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. So Leonard, what are you playing?
So I'm going to be bringing Kharadron Overlords today. I'm going to play Barrack Urbaz. I'm playing a list pretty close to the pretty standard 2 blocks of 15 Thunderers, sort of like Owen Jackson KO list right now. So I have 2 units of 15 Thunderers, one of them in the boat, one of them out of the boat. I have 1 unit of 10 Archanaut Company filling out the rest of my battle line. A single Ironclad with the Last Word and the Sky Cannon. I have 6 heroes, so I have 2 chemists, 1 for each group of Thunderers. One of them will have Tunnel Master, the other one will have the Soul Scream Bridge and a spell in a bottle. I have a Navigator with the Void Stone for an extra free auto unbind. I have an Admiral who will be my general. He has the X Grunstock command trait, which will allow him to issue a command for free to a Grunstock unit and makes my Thunderous battle line. And he also has the Burst Grenade, so he can turn off ward saves once per game. And then I have an Endrin Master with Endrin Harness for some healing, and a Night Incanter for an additional free unbind.
He's just off there hiding in the woods.
Off there hiding in the woods, ready to turn off a spell and cast Mystic Shield. And, yep, that is the entire list. It's 2 command entourages and a Galatian Sharpshooter. 10 drops.
So my battle plan is, or my strategy here, my plan is to try to get rid of this big boat and see if I can do that. We'll see if that can happen. It's gonna be shooting versus shooting. I almost feel like a Cruel Boys list would be better off here.
Cruel Boys is a really swingy matchup for KO.
Yes.
KO can teleport to mess up the Grinnin Blade's invisibility, but they have to make sure that their Alpha Strike hits the right stuff, because we don't really have ward saves in KO. So right. If you shoot the boat with Bolt Boys, there's not much I can do about it.
Cool. Okay, so we will be back after the so Big Wagh's going first. So we'll be back after the first phase.
Okay.
All right, here we are at the end of the first hero phase, Big Waugh turn 1 hero phase. So the battle tactic that I chose was Desecrate their lands. I actually only have 1 command point left. So essentially what I did was the Swamp Kala Shaman in the back here gave the poison over to this purple unit of Bullet Boys here. I tried to I tried to buff up my Mega Boss. Rather unsuccessfully. I failed to give him +1 save, and I also failed to give him flying with levitate, but I did use Violent Fury on him, and I did successfully teleport him, and I did use that command point on Mighty Destroyers. Basically, the idea is I'm trying to get him into this weird wood so I can try to kill this Knight Incanter. This is my Desecrate Their Land objective, so I'm going to try to get rid of a Knight Incanter, which prevents my opponent from having that extra Unbind, because that's going to be a real pain in the butt for me. If the 2 Void Scrolls on the team, or on the KO side, are able to unbind my teleports, that's going to be really tricky. So I figured I would get in here and try to get rid of one right away, because I don't think the Mega Boss is going to be particularly good because of all the Unleash Hells, right? So I'm going to see if I can get into this little sneaky little corner here and make a go of it. Any thoughts, Leonard, before we go to the next phase?
No, I think that this is kind of a solid way to start the first turn. I think that being too aggressive with Bolt Boys is probably the wrong call, and I think that there's not really too much of a way for you to have a super explosive turn 1.
Right.
So I think trying to force it would be the wrong move, and then instead doing what you're doing, which is sort of a slow building tempo move, is probably the right call.
I would agree. It's kind of. I mean, we'll find out, right?
That's why KO gives away the first turn to armies like
because they don't care.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I think you probably can't do too much that I can't handle in the first turn, so they'll just give it to you. So I think this is a pretty reasonable way. The thinking about the Voidstorm Scroll is super true for your army specifically, because you need that teleport spell.
Need it.
As often as possible.
Every time.
Yeah, and even one time that I get to automatically turn it off is already really bad for you. So if you can kill one of those scrolls, that's really good, yeah.
Awesome. I agree. All right, let's go on to move. All right, so here we are at the end of the move phase. No command points spent. Pretty basic. I should have shown it before and after, but I didn't. All that I basically did was Gore Grunt is on the flanks, moved up to tag objectives. We have the Ard Boys that move forward to tag objectives. These Ard Boys on the left side, they're basically screening out teleports, right? I'm trying to cover my whole back end. The War Chanter moved more into the middle for a little bit of extra protection and just a toe touch on this objective. I didn't move the this guy, so he's actually just going to also toe touch on the objective too. Same with the Waaagh. I didn't move them, but they should just. I don't see why they wouldn't just toe touch on these objectives too, just for the sake of it. Bolt Boys didn't move. They're probably not going to move until they get teleported anywhere. And the Brutes also, they just moved down here for the same reason. They're just trying to zone out. Actually, you know what? This Weird Knob should actually run. Yeah. This Weird Knob's actually just going to run over into here, so he can also tag the Brutes next turn. Sure. Yeah, that's definitely how that should go. But yeah, overall, I think a pretty straightforward movement phase. Hopefully, KO can't find any space. I did not move the Mega Boss because I'm going to charge into this here. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, pretty straightforward. Let's move on to shoot.
You completed a charge.
I did complete a charge. So here's the end of the charge phase. Pretty boring charge phase. Thanks for Leonard for remembering my point. That's why I'm practicing. Yeah, I should definitely not forget. So this Mega Boss just charged in and completed the charge. And so combat is going to be pretty much the same. Going to slap this Knight Incanter. So let's see how that goes.
Going to be.
All right, end of the combat phase. And it was a fucking disaster. Absolute fucking disaster. First of all, so the Mega Boss actually took 2 wounds. And the Knight Incanter took none. None. 0. I did not trigger the Mighty Destroyer, so not that it would have mattered, but I also didn't use all-out attack or anything. I figured that with a 3-3, 1-3 attack profile, I had 8 dice, and all I had to do was hit this guy twice, and I didn't even hit him once. And another sort of mistake I feel, or I know that I made, was when I issued Mighty Destroyers to the Mega Boss, I got a copy of it for free, and did not give it to the Gore Gruntas. So the Gore Gruntas could actually have been within like a charge, or they could have moved up a little bit or done something. But they didn't. So that's a pretty... I mean, it's a dice game, right? So we'll see how the... and there's going to be no Battle Shock.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the end of the round. So I failed to score because I was relying on killing this Knight Incanter. So I control 1, I control 2, I control more. but that's it. No scoring for me. So it's going to be a 3-point turn. So, Leonard, at the end of this turn, so we've already sort of, you touched on how you felt like this was a good starting move, right, with the Mega Boss moving up here. Do you think that, like, I know, I feel like the Mighty Destroyer's mistake without moving the Gorgruntas is kind of like, probably like an insignificant kind of small thing. We'll see how it plays out. Would you have used all-out attack on this Mega Boss to hit this Knight Incanter?
Yeah, I think I'd have popped Destroyer too.
You would have gone all the way.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna die. Like the Mega Boss is gonna die before he gets to hit anything else, for sure. Like even if he wants to charge, you'd have to set up such a complicated charge where the Mega Boss can't get Unleash Held, and you have other things charging first to eat it for him, in order to get him into combat with anything, because he'll just die to shooting in the charge phase, and like you said, he won't get to fight on death.
Right.
So I think that because then if you pop Destroyer, you only need me to fail one save, and this guy dies.
So you're saying that? So what I'm hearing you say is that I may as well, because he's toast anyway.
I think so. You already are throwing him at me turn 1 because you think he's not going to be super useful in the matchup. So you may as well trade everything he has, since your mentality is trading. But I do actually think the bigger mistake was the Gorgruntas, because sure. I think that even other than the 2 victory points, which is like the biggest thing, if they had come forward and then been able to charge, or wait, they ran, they ran, but even just coming forward like this, the extra 2 points and the board presence, because it clogs, their bases are huge. And this isn't that wide of a space between the building and the tree to begin with.
Well, it would have given me my Desecrate.
Yeah, it would have given you Desecrate, but also clogged the hell out of this objective. Like, there's so much terrain on it already. It's going to be really hard for me to teleport anything into this area because of how you have it screened. So you're going to make it really hard for me to take this left side if you clog that up.
Yeah, my thinking for not activating Destroyers was that, like, I figured I had to hit you 2 out of 8. And I was like, oh, that's definitely going to happen. Like, your Knight Incanter's not a big defensive unit, right? But
the dice betray us.
The dice betray us sometimes.
You rolled so many 2s.
I rolled so many 2s. It was pretty. It was pretty gross.
I felt bad doing that last night too, because I was playing Skaven and I was rolling a lot of 2s, but I was doing that with Warp Lightning Cannons, which is like, the equivalent of rolling 6s.
Right. But overall, I mean, I think pretty good turn 1. So let's jump into KO's turn 1.
All right. Yeah, you want to?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So for my hero phase, I gained a free command point with my heroic action. Moss got additional Waaagh points.
Woo!
I tried to cast Mystic Shield with the Knight Incanter, rolled a 4 and failed. I cast the Soul Screen Bridge automatically from the spell in the bottle and used it to connect over to this side of the map here with the yellow Gorgruntas on it. I moved 10 company through it to sort of clog the area and hopefully be able to, if I take a double, maybe claim this objective for me and score me some points temporarily while I clear out the middle. Blue Thunderers moved up their 4 inches to crowd around the bridge so that they can travel through it in the future if they want to. Ironclad moved up its 10-inch normal move instead of teleporting, and then gave out a combat landing so that the Yellow Thunderers and the Chemist could disembark. And the Knight Incanter retreated from the Meg Boss here in the movement phase. So a relatively uneventful hero phase with only the 1 wizard and no damage sustained. One other notable hero phase thing that occurred. The Navigator read the winds and dealt 3 mortal wounds to the Mega Boss that is in the forest.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Okay, so then we're moving on to shoot. Okay, so here's the end of the Kharadron Overlord shoot phase. I believe you still have 4+1 command points.
I used the +1.
Okay, so
I just have 4.
So just 4 command points. And it was a very, very unlucky shoot phase. The War Chanter took 4 points of damage, and the Ard Boys lost some units, but not as many as it should have been.
Yeah, for sure. I rolled pretty bad on my wound rolls for a lot of my shooting with Thunderers. Thunderers are a little bit swingy in that way. The Yard Boys in the middle are not my +1 to wound unit, so I'm not really getting a whole lot out of that. Force to wound is, sometimes it's fickle. So we rolled a lot of 2s and 3s to wound. Killed 6 Yard Boys and dealt 4 damage to the War Chanter. Barely missed killing the Weird Knob Shaman General with the Great Sky Cannon profile.
Yeah, I can see why KO wins a lot. You have good maneuverability tricks, right? And then you just pick whatever it is you want to kill off the table.
Yeah, and you just shoot it from a distance.
Yep. Are you going to be doing any charges?
No.
Okay, so...
Actually, I could charge with the boat and potentially finish this unit in the middle.
Okay, well, let's we'll pause the video and go on to the next phase, I guess. All right, so no charges, no combat. So KO scored what, 3 points that turn? Is that right?
2-point turn.
2 points.
So I hold 1 and 2, but not more.
Right, because I hold 2
hold
as well.
3.
Right, I hold 3. Right.
Yeah, you hold both sides, and then you hold the back, and I hold the middle and mine. And I missed killing a unit in the shooting phase. Bad wound rolls. So
yeah, really bad.
Yeah, so lost out on 2 points there. I'll have to make that up by attempting to table you, essentially. That's my way back in the game, is like shoot all the stuff until you can't score.
Shoot all the stuff till I can't score.
So getting a double here is pretty important for me.
Well, shall we roll off? Oh, and I used my last command point to auto-pass my Ard Boys in the center of the Battle Shock phase.
Yep.
All right, let's roll off. Ty goes to who? Me? I got a 5.
Yep. I also got a 5.
All right, so it looks like you don't get the double turn.
All right.
Big Waaagh is going next. All right, Big Waaagh turn 2, end of the hero phase. For a battle tactic, I chose gaining momentum because I already have more objectives than my opponent, and I'm gonna kill this Knight Incanter. No holds bar this time. I'm gonna kill this Knight Incanter. So in the hero phase, the Swamp Color Shaman gave the poison to these Red Bolt boys. The War Chanter used Fix and Beat on himself. He gave his Mighty Destroyers to the Ard Boys at the front. Not that that's a super great move, but that's the move I made. The Wargog Prophet used his... I always forget what it's called. His War Scroll spell, Fist of Gork. He used it to hit the Thunderers because they have 15 models, and I think I did like 3 mortal wounds. I think something like that.
3 mortals. Yep.
3 mortals, and then I didn't spend any command points on anything, and then I do believe that's it. I tried to use my Weird Knob's teleport spell, but it was the Void Scroll was spent from the what's the guy's name? Or it was the Knight Incanter.
Yeah, it was the Knight Incanter.
So then the other the other guy's inside of this inside the boat, and it's all the range of 30 inches. Like there's nothing I can do to get away from it.
Big boat.
It's big. It's that big boat. Changing the base sizes of models, like throughout, for example, the way that Seraphon used to do with the Ziggurat is incredibly powerful. It's a very strong ability. Adding a few extra inches, like every inch that you add is exponentially more territory that you cover.
Scaling. Very strong.
Yeah, very, very strong. I like it. Big fan. So I do believe that's it. So we'll see how the rest of this thing goes. Oops, it's not the hero phase. What the fuck? It's not the hero phase. It's the movement phase. So here we are at the end of the movement phase. I still have 2 command points. KO has 3+2. Battle tactic gain momentum. Yep. So here's essentially how I moved. My Weird Knob Shaman moved over here because I don't know what to do with him otherwise. The War Chanter moved from the center. He ran all the way to the back. My Ard Boys have abandoned the center objective, and they ran backwards to stand in front of the Wargog Prophet. These Gore Grunters moved up a little bit. These ones repositioned. I don't really know how it's going to work out, but I didn't want to run into this choke point, so I just decided to stay back, and that's about it. So I think we're pretty much ready for the charge phase. Well, the only charge that's going to happen is the Mega Boss over here is going to charge into this guy right here, right? So, actually, no, it's going to be the shoot phase. So I think I have to do a little bit of thinking about the shoot phase. So I will pause here and come back after that.
All
All right, here
right.
we are at the end of Big Waaagh turn 2. What a shit show. So we stopped it at the end of the movement phase, and so the only thing that happened in the shoot phase was these Bolt Boys shot a few of these Thunderers, killed 3 of them or 4 of them, I think, because they had the poison.
4.
Yep, and then the Mega Boss in the back here, in the charge phase, charged at the Night Incanter, didn't get any Unleash Hells. I popped Destroyer because, Leonard, you are correct. I should have popped it at the very beginning. So I popped it here, and with their finest hour, the Mega Boss got 0 hits. There was 2. You had to make 2 saves, but I rolled absolute garbage, even with the +1 to hit from the Big Waaagh points being generated. Because I don't think I mentioned, but after that charge, I had 19 points, and didn't get a single hit off, and then the Night Incanter turned around and killed the Mega Boss. So good for you, Night Incanter. So MVP. So that was it. So it was Control 1 and Control 2, Control more, but I didn't score my battle tactic. I feel like, like Leonard, you said that both of us are flailing around here at the beginning of this game, and I do not disagree. I do not disagree. So let's go into KO's turn 2. So here's the end of the Kharadron Overlord hero phase. Big Waaagh has 3 command points. KO has 3 plus 1. Battle tactic stake a claim. So what happened in your hero phase, Leonard?
So I chose stake a claim. I have to control less objectives than you when I choose it, and then at the end of the turn, I have to control more objectives than you in order to score it. I successfully cast Mystic Shield with the Night Incanter, and I put it on the Ironclad. The Wargog failed to unbind that by rolling very low. I did Read the Winds with the Navigator and dealt D3 mortal wounds to the Weird Knob Shaman. And I rallied the Thunderers, and I got 2 mortars back.
Cool.
That's the whole hero phase.
All right. So...
Oh, and I put my heroic action, I put Finest Hour on the Endrin Master with Endrin Harness, because I'm planning to get aggressive with the boat.
So here's the board before the movement phase, and we'll jump back in and show you after the movement phase. Okay, here we are at KO, the end of the movement phase. So hopefully the before and after looks pretty decent. So Leonard, walk us through what you did.
All right, so the Unit of Green Company auto-ran 6 to get 6 models on the objective. Or, I'm sorry, 7 models on the objective. So I control this top objective, or this side objective here with the Gruntas on it. The Blue Thunderers jumped through the bridge behind that company so that they can shoot the Gruntas. The Chemist ran over here to catch up to the Thunderers so that he can hand out his +1 rend. The Yellow Chemist and the Yellow Thunderers moved up in the middle behind the Ironclad, which took a normal 10-inch move forward to grab the middle and take some more shots at the Hard Boys and the Wargog. The Night Incanter moved his normal 5 to stand between this building and the woods, just to sort of clog up Gore-Grunta movement, make it really annoying for you to try to rotate into my back objective.
You shall not pass.
Because he's pretty much done his job already. He did way more than I expected him to, so now he's going to die a valiant death like Gandalf.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole movement, though. Oh, and the Endrin Master in Endrin Harness disembarked from the boat after the boat moved.
And this guy's hiding in a bush.
Yep. He's hiding over here in the bush next to the Thunderers. So now I have 3 units outside of the boat that can get back in the boat next turn for a battle attack.
Smart. Okay, cool. All right, let's see what the end of the shoot phase looks like. All right, here we are at the end of the shoot phase. So another kind of disappointing round from KO. So let's see. We killed the Gore-Grunta on the left side, or on, I guess, the KO's right side, and went down to 4. The Ard Boys in the front were taken down. The Wargog Prophet, his Fueled by Gurish Rage was triggered, but he's still alive with 3 hit points. 2 Bolt Boys died in the back. And that was it, right?
That is it.
So did you feel like your rolls were? Yeah, the Ard Boys are toast. Did you feel like your rolls were particularly bad?
I feel like I am rolling kind of below average for a lot of my shooting, especially the swingiest shooting, right? So
Right.
like the boat is performing really bad.
Yes.
Um, the Thunderers are doing okay. Um, the way I'm playing right now is so that I can still gain momentum in the game without killing too much. So I'm not like it's not the end of the world that I haven't killed too much yet because I'm still going to score really well this turn. And if I get a double, I'm in a really good position.
Yes.
And I can probably kill the Wargog on the charge with the boat, since the boat's already in range to have to deal with the bolt boys and everything.
Yes.
Uh, I may as well kind of throw it forward.
All right.
So, I mean, I still feel like I'm in an okay position, but I do feel like I'm not rolling particularly well.
No, but you're right about your swingiest shots coming from the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not working out super great.
Yeah, I mean, I've missed out on killing your general twice now.
Twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dice game. Let's go on to charge.
Yep.
End of round 2. So we did. So the so Leonard decided not to charge. So because there was no charge, no combat. I auto passed battle shock for my bolt boys, and that was it. So Leonard,
Oh, did you roll? Do you have to roll for the Gorgruntas? They lost one.
Oh, I do have to roll for the Gorgruntas, and they're fine.
They're fine.
And I don't end within. I don't get any more wall points for anything. So Leonard, you're tell me about. You said that you're going for the double turn play. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I think I kind of need to angle for a double here. I thought about throwing the boat forward to try to finish off the Wargog. I have the Admiral inside. He's relatively fighty. But I'm not sure that kind of play is correct. It's going to instantly die to Bolt Boys and then maybe a Brute's Charge if they don't finish it. I'm currently just like on the tip of that 17-inch range where Bolt Boys might be able to start trying to hasty shot me. So I'm trying to aim for a double here so that I can just gain some momentum, clear off some of the shooting threat, or maybe the Brutes, and then aggressively trade the Ironclad in the next turn.
Shall we roll off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tie goes to me. 5.
4.
All right, so no double turn for you.
Okay.
Okay, so you're up on points now, right? Because you got a 5-point turn.
I did.
So we'll have to see what happens round 3. End of Big Waaagh turn 3. Didn't work out super great. So for my battle tactic, I went eye for an eye. I have to kill a unit. I'm hoping to kill this Knight Incanter, but he seems to be jinxed for me this game. So we'll see how that goes. I rolled for a command point and failed. Generated some wall points, so I'm sitting at 23 wall points now. I rolled really poorly for the general. So I'm call a shaman, give the poison over to the big unit of 6. They're probably going to shoot at the boat here. The Wargog Prophet used the Wargog Mass on the boat, did 3 wounds. Failed the first roll, but you don't take damage for the first roll. Dealt 3 wounds the second time, and then killed myself. I dealt 6 wounds to myself, and I couldn't board my way through that. So that's unfortunate. I was hoping, fingers crossed, I was hoping to take the boat down. Leonard rallied, and did you get any units back from your rally?
I got 2 models back.
Got a couple models back. That's cool.
Yep.
The War Chanter gave his Violent Fury over to these guys. Not that it matters. And that's pretty much it. I got Choking Mist went off. Everybody in the middle. So that's pretty much it. Not a big enough turn, but we'll go to the move and see what happens. So we're at the end of the shoot phase for Big Waaagh turn 3. I moved the Gorgruntas just a little bit on the side just to close in on the Knight Incanter, but a redeploy moved him back, but it's all fine. These Gorgruntas moved, but they didn't really have to. I just repositioned them a little bit. These Ardboys ran up. The Brutes auto ran 6, so that's where I spent my command point. I'm hoping, so we ended up at 9.1 inches just outside of redeploy range, and nothing else moved. The Bolt Boys shot, and I got quite a large number of mortal wounds off of the buffed up unit of Bolt Boys, so that was great. So the spear is looking like it's seen better days. So there's
10 mortals.
There's hope for us still. That's it. So let's so for charges, we're going to be charging So I'm just going to roll them right now. So the company on the left, I'm going to charge the Gore Gruntas in. And they'll...
Oh, they're in.
Yeah, and they'll get in. So they also have to roll for some damage, but we'll do that off camera. The Gore Gruntas on the right are going to charge 9, and so they'll be able to get in as well. I'll move them here in a sec. But the really interesting one is these brutes are going to charge.
They ran.
Oh, yeah, they did run. Never mind. Okay, so those 2 charges. Yeah, we'll come back here at the end of the combat phase.
Okay, so they lost 2 guys and their bravery 6.
Big Waaagh combat, turn 3. 2 fights. These pigs killed the Knight Incanter. Barely. Barely. But that's good. And then over here, I killed... How many? Did I kill any of the company?
You killed 2 Arcanaut company.
Right.
You killed 2 pirates.
And then I lost some wounds on a pig. So.
You lost a pig to Unleash Hell, and then you lost some wounds on the last pig.
Yeah, that's right. And then what else happened? I think that was pretty much it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the charges went through, right? It's just some combat.
Yep. Made both charges, killed the Knight Incanter for your battle tactic, and then charged the Arcanaut company here. Yeah.
Okay, so we both have some battle shocks to do, right?
Yes.
Just on this side, though, I believe.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna risk it and roll mine for the pigs, and I'll be fine.
Yep. I'm gonna risk it as well. I only lost 2 guys. I'm bravery 6.
Yeah,
and
you'll be fine. Okay, so then for scoring, I control 1, I control 2, these 2 right here, and I got my battle tactic, so that brings me up to 4 points. So that brings me to 10. 10 to 7. I mean, this is still a game.
For sure.
So let's see what happens in the next round. Kharadron Overlords turn 3 hero phase. Yeah,
yep.
Let us know what's going on.
So I did the heroic action where I gained a command point. I succeeded and put that on my general. I picked Mobilize the Fleet because last turn I had set up to have 3 units outside the boat within 3 to get back in it for a free battle tactic. So I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of my Rendon shooting by having the Chemist disembarked in order to, score some points, get in, move the army around a little bit. I rolled my Read the Winds, got a single 1, and dealt the 3 mortal wounds to the Weird Knob Shaman, which was 1. And that is about it.
And healed the spear.
I also healed the Ironclad for 3 wounds with the Endrin Master.
Nice, good.
But that's the whole hero phase.
All right, so here's our board position before the move, and then we'll check it out after. So end of KO's turn 3 movement phase. Let's have a look. Lots going on. Walk us through it, Leonard. What'd you do?
Okay, so we jumped back through the bridge with the Blue Thunderers and are set up with the Chemist behind to shoot at the Blue Gorgontas over here, holding our center and sort of back objective. The unit of Yellow Thunderers, the Yellow Chemist, and the Endrin Master all got on board the Ironclad, which then flew high into the corner here in Orc territory, Orc deployment zone, 9 inches away from the Brutes, and is set up for a whole bunch of good shooting from the side flank here, both on the Brutes and then on the units of Bolt Boys in the back.
Awesome. Good luck, have fun, me. Okay, so KO shooting phase. I'm not sure how many command points you have left, but that's okay. So, blew the unit of Brutes off the table. I'm not sure, killed one of the Gore Gruntas over here, as well as gave them Suppressing Fire, or whatever the ability is called, which is a super cool ability. And knocked out some more Bolt Boys. Did I miss anything there?
No, that's it. Yeah, after teleporting, I shot off the unit of Brutes with the boat, the boat's carbines, and then all of the Thunderers on board, and the Navigator finished it off with the ranging pistol. The company killed 1 pig over here in the shooting phase, and then the Thunderers killed 1 pig and gave them -1 to hit. Yeah,
and you killed the Brutes with your last shot with exactly enough damage to finish the last model.
Yep.
So I think we're going to call the game here. with a KO victory, right? So there's not much. I mean, we have enough for like I'll be able to do. There's no charges, right?
No.
And then there's no combat, and so like I'll pass. I'll use my triumph to pass my bull boys, their bravery. But after this, like, and this would be the end of the round, so we would roll off to see who goes next here too, wouldn't we?
Yep.
So let's
We
do
would,
that.
yep.
I'm just curious to see.
Okay.
So I get a 4.
I get a 4.
Right. So I would
So you
I would
would
go
still have
next. So if I were to go next, I would probably be able to shoot, or at least stand a good chance, but not even that good of a chance to kill your boat off. Yeah,
You might kill the boat.
I might kill the boat. Let's say I did kill the boat. Let's like just for argument's sake, the pigs are not going to be able to do much over here. Not
Yeah.
with they're gonna eat and unleash hell. So
Yes.
their best case scenario, they're gonna hide back over here and hold this objective probably. Some of them, I'm gonna be able to grab this objective. How many? You have more than 5 over here. The
I
company.
have 7. I have 8 models.
Right,
on
so
that.
even the Ard boys won't be able to collect this. I would have a pretty easy battle tactic, so I'd be able to get 4 points. But then I think after that, you would just blow me off the table again, I think.
Yeah, I'll score 5 every turn for the rest of the game now.
Yeah.
I still haven't done Desecrate. I still haven't done Gaining. I still haven't done Eye for an Eye. I still haven't done Cunning Maneuver.
Yeah, because you have a lot of really good book battle tactics.
Because I've done 3 book battle tactics. Or
Yeah.
3.
For in this army with this list, with the Iron Jaws general, there's only 3 that I can get. And one of them is Time to Get Stuck In. I can only do it on the first 2 turns, and it's not going to happen with Big Waaagh. Like, you're
And the
not going to
other
get
one is-
stuck in with everybody in Big Waaagh.
And the other one is like kill every battle line or something.
Yes,
isn't it?
it's at the beginning of the thing. Yeah, you have to like finish off the last battle line unit that turn. So that one is also like not one that's going to happen very often. To me, that's like a good Iron Jaws battle tactic, right? Like you're
It is,
charging
yeah.
in, right, and you're going to kill all the screens.
Yep.
And then Squish to Puny Gits is the other one that sort of works for this army. But no, that's the one that has the battle line one. Is Squish
that's the
Squish to
kill all
Puny
battle.
Gits. Yeah, and the one that we have that's actually good is Wait For It Lads, which is where you have like less than 30 Waaagh points, and then at the end you end with more than 30 Waaagh points. So that one's kind of a gimme. If you don't call your Waaagh, which I don't do super often anyway. But yeah, so that's the end of that. So what do you think? So what did you think overall of the game, Leonard?
I think that I think that this kind of showed me that even when you don't roll great with Thunderers, the mobility of Kharadron Overlords and the ease of scoring battle tactics for this army just kind of makes playing them feel very, very free. I didn't have to touch a GHB battle tactic for 3 turns, and I failed my first turn
Right.
battle tactic by rolling poorly. But I mean, that will happen sometimes. But even from that position in this game, the army feels like it has a lot of play, even when it's rolling kind of mid. I think that, if we were to adjust your score a little bit for and imagine you did the Mighty Destroyers move at the beginning with the pigs to get Desecrate, right?
Yep,
And
it would have
you
been
were-
a couple more
yeah.
points. Yep.
And you were 2 points up. I still think that keeping the brutes back for so long was probably not the right move.
Probably not. I sort of felt like in retrospect, looking back, I could have thrown them away in the same way that I felt about the Mega Boss.
Right.
Right? As soon as you were like, okay, well, they're the favorite enemy or whatever, the grudge. I can't remember the word for it. It's like, okay, so they're just going to like jump forward and get in the way and die. And hopefully like clog up the center, take the objective, right, and just die. Like maybe the Brute should have gone up front with the Ard boys behind and the War Chanter behind them so that I can like use the fix and beat, heal them up a little bit.
Yeah, I think you want to take one of the units of pigs and you want to throw it up the center as fast as possible to eat my Unleash Hell, and then send the brutes, because your first turn teleport is the one that I was too far away from you to interact with at all, right? that's the one that you get for free without me getting to scroll or anything like that.
Yeah, but
And
I
think,
the Mega Boss I feel was still a pretty good idea.
I think it's a fine trade, but I think that if you Mighty Destroyers the 10 brutes into me, and then also Mighty Destroyers the pigs up the map, and use the pigs to eat Unleash Hell, you can do a lot of damage on turn 1. Because I feel like you either have to try to do that, or you have to try to play this really like weird sort of footsie game that we kind of played here, where you're keeping units out of range as much as possible, zoning teleports and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you're playing an army that runs out of material relatively quickly, but the material doesn't really have like that greatest saves. And against a shooting army, like, you can't win attrition battles.
Correct. That's definitely how it feels, having finished this game off. It was also the your ability to interfere with my teleports hurt quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right? Because I did the turn 1 Mega Boss one, which was great. And then the second time I tried, you Void Scrolled it. Yeah. The third time I tried, I failed.
Yeah.
Right? I rolled poorly. And then you still have a Void Scroll. And so I feel like if I was able to like buff up a unit of Bold Boys and teleport them and shoot, it would have helped me a lot with being able to take positions on the board, with being able like scoring more points, obviously killing more units. So
I agree.
I mean, brutes had to get in the fight even if they were just gonna die, it's tricky though, because like when you moved your boat here to the side at the end here, this is what I was trying to prevent in the first place.
Yeah, I think the big problem is that like this army needs like 2 more units of 5 Ardboys instead of 3 pigs.
There's a lot of zoning out that happens in this army.
Yeah, because you don't want to have to use the brutes as a zoning tool. That's 360 points or 320 points, right? Like they're a hammer. You want to be hitting stuff with them. But if you're using them by parking them in the corner to stop me from teleporting, then I win. Like that's way too many points for you to be just hanging out and not doing anything with. Like, you're starting the game 300 points down just to prevent me from doing something.
Yep, I definitely felt that this game.
But those units of 5 Ardboys are amazing for screening. So you could just have a couple of those and park them out over here. And they're also they're kind of like clan rats. They have less wounds, but that 4-up rally and having a 4-up save and a wound and a ward, those little units of 5, if you survive getting shot at or fought or whatever with one guy, they're gonna come back to full strength within 2 turns.
I'm definitely gonna. Yeah, I mean the 2 units of Gorg. Originally, this list had a reinforced unit of Gorgruntas, and that felt a lot better. Than 2 units of 3.
But I think the single unit of 3, just to have something to pin or to just eat Unleash Hell against a lot of armies is enough.
Well, you also needed to get that +1 to cast for round 2. Like being able to charge and end combat in melee. And hold the opponent back. Like 1 unit of Gorgruntas, I feel, is pretty important in Big Waaagh, just for that reason. It does so many little things that you need. Right, pin, score, But the 2 of them, it's like whatever. Like over on the right-hand side, this could have very easily been a unit of 5 Ardboys rushing up onto the objective instead.
Yep.
And then having a unit back here to a double, like a reinforced unit in the front, and then another unit on the side also zoning out. Because you need to zone out for Big Waaagh.
Absolutely.
Right? You have so many casters and shooters that are so delicate, you have to be able to do that.
Because this isn't the only army that you have to be able to do that kind of zoning stuff for, too, right? Like Lumineth.
Everything, even gets. Right? No, it's like a bunch of squig herds going to come at you. It's like you got to be able to be for more than all your squishies more than 9 away from that front line.
Yep.
Right? All of these armies.
9 inches.
Yep. It's definitely not like Warhammer Fantasy, right? Where it's like you line up your guys, I line up my guys.
Yeah.
Throw them all at each other.
We throw giant blocks of units.
Exactly. So I mean, besides, like, I feel like, because again, this is from these videos, these things are from like an orc perspective, right? So the list could definitely, I think you're 100% correct with the Ardboys. Like, more Ardboys is better because we're just trying to stall, and I don't know if 3 more Gorgruntas does a good enough job stalling compared to 2 more units of Ardboys.
Yeah.
Right.
And just buying you space.
Yeah, buying
your
space.
Zone.
Yeah.
They're so good at that.
Yep.
One thing I liked about the list this time around, instead of Brick's Cruel Shots and sacrificing a little bit of monster presence for the 2 units of Bolt Boys, I think is really solid.
Yeah, if you're going to run a shaman, like buffing up a block of 6 and teleporting a block of 6 is a real threat.
Yep.
A block of 3 just it doesn't do what you need it to do. It's not going to be consistent enough to pick off those foot heroes.
Too swingy.
It's kind yeah, exactly. It's kind of too swingy. But when they're buffed and they're 6, now it's okay. Right.
Yeah, now you're talking about like I almost killed an Ironclad in 1 turn of shooting.
Yeah. And the real thing's going to be teleporting them getting a good shot off, and then positioning them in such a way that on your next turn you can hasty shot them. Right? That's when you're talking some real value.
Yep.
Even though they don't have the Swamp Color Shaman's buff for the second time around.
They won't have the poison the second time around, but I mean
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're holding an objective, or if they are in an annoying position, like, that's okay.
Yep.
Hopefully you're trading effectively for them that first teleport. Okay, great. So, yeah, all of you YouTube viewers, be sure to let me know in the description what you think. This is my first time doing one of these. I refuse to do any editing, so this is the best format that I could come up with. So let me know what you think. I'm sure that when I watch this later, there's going to be a few things that I see that I'm going to be able to smooth out. So let me know what you think about the format of the videos. Let me know what you think about the army. Let me know what you think about the lists. What would you have done differently? What mistakes did we make? What did we do well? And until next time, like, subscribe, and Waaagh.